Hello, I am Bentham and welcome back to Satisfactory Desert Bus, where it has been a little bit of a while since the last episode. There was something of a break in videos for a short time, but we're back on it now, and honestly not much has happened in Satisfactory terms. There have been a lot of little updates in recent times that have just been bug fixes and small quality of life things, tweaks here and there. Most of the developers have been on holiday, so it's all been very calm on the Satisfactory front. The positive element of that being that the game is very, very stable right now. I'm currently in the experimental build because why not? It's full of bug fixes. It's presumably even more stable than the actual main branch of the game right now, assuming the bug fixes haven't broken anything. However, something is broken. The whole factory. Everything has shut down. You may have noticed a couple things were moving when this started. They've all stopped. The moment I loaded this save, the entire factory completely shut down. I heard the sound of a power failure, and if we hop over to a power pole, we can see apparently we peaked at 609.9 megawatt hours, and our capacity is 600. Presumably, if I try and activate it, it doesn't help. Now it's trying to run even higher. Well, if we can take a look. Now it's trying to go at 780. That's a new feature, I think, of this. I think this is new, that you can now mouse over the different things and see what your capacity is, what you're actually producing, and what you're actually consuming. You can mouse over any part of the graph and see exactly what it was doing at that particular time, meaning we know exactly how much we are screwed by in terms of power issues. Now, I'm not 100% sure what has caused this. I have a theory, and that is that because of some updates and various things like that, when I loaded the save, every machine was briefly running at the same time. Or, well, I guess it was only slightly above the limit. For whatever reason, I think... oh, there you go. Wire filling up still. But I think it's something like all the machines tried to run at once, or more machines tried to run than were meant to, or something like that, which caused it to spike and cause that power failure. Now, we're having the classic reason why we can't restart the power, which is that once the power failure happens, everything builds up everywhere. All the things that were moving on belts get to where they were going, i.e. to assemblers and various other machines that will then process them. Meaning that when you try and activate the power, every machine will try and switch on, or way more machines than before will try and switch on. Whereas when everything's in motion, some machines are always off and everything's flickering off and on, and the total power consumption is less than what it can be. I know for a fact that this factory can operate within the power production we have, but for whatever reason, it briefly stopped doing that, and now it definitely can't start again because it is now trying to run everything at once, briefly, before it can get back to normal. So we need to do something about that, and I have a plan. We're going to go and grab a bunch of leaves and wood, more storage here. I think that's all the stuff from there, and then there's some more in here. I think that's all of it. Seems like all of it. We're going to try and jumpstart the factory. That is my plan, and I believe that we can do this. So we're going to hop over to the old biomass facility, which is no longer operational, and we're going to use this to jumpstart the rest of the system. So we'll dump in the supplies of wood and leaves. Won't actually do anything, of course, because the power's out. But it means that as soon as the power is going again, it will produce some biofuel, because I realise we will need it. And yeah, we have none in storage. All we have is this one small stack of biofuel on us. But this should be enough. I'm going to start splitting it into lots of very small chunks. Oh, that's the wrong thing. There we go. It's moved over there. I've noticed that it depends which way you split it as to what happens. So the different stacks actually go in your inventory in the way that they're split. So if I put it this way, the 5 ends up being added on. If I do it... Oop, I'll mess that up. If I do it this way, the 5 goes there and the 25 goes there. So that's a wacky thing. I'm going to split this into 5s until we cannot split it anymore. For one reason or another. This particular reason being space. And then we're going to drop the biofuel in each of these machines. And the thing is, this isn't enough to run them for, like, more than a minute. I don't know what the exact time is. It doesn't... Oh, there we go. 15 seconds. So yeah, we get 1 minute 15 seconds of power. from having all of these running. And that's if they run at all. But what I believe will happen when we switch it on is that it will be enough to operate the whole factory. And then by the time these have run out in 1 minute and 15 seconds, the power consumption will have dropped back to normal levels below what our steam engines can support, and then the factory will be running again. That's the idea. So, wrong thing again. Couple more 5s. I've got enough for this. There's loads of hissing happening now. And all these things starting to run. I can just double click these actually. Yeah, there we go. Alright, and let's see if this works. Oh. Oh. A couple more machines are kicking in apparently. Oh. I think we did it. Yep, the power consumption is beginning to drop. The good thing is that the more it drops, the longer this fuel will last. Not by a huge amount, but every little helps. And the critical thing is that the power consumption needs to drop back below 600 megawatt hours. If it does that, soon enough, we're good. We're about halfway through the power we have, I think. We're down to 640. Hanging around there. Oh, there we go. We've dropped below 600. Will we stay there? We're continuing to drop. There we go. All of the built-up supplies have now been used up by the various machines. They're no longer running at all times. So the power consumption at any one moment is lower. It's hanging around in the mid 500s, looks like. Seems to be stabilizing about here. May drop even more though, which is good because we're on our last bit of fuel and in a second this will run out. And we'll be running entirely off the steam engines again. And there we go. Factory's still running. We're in the mid 400s now. Okay, we're hanging around 500, but... Oh. I think we're good now. The factory was running fine before, which means it should be running fine now. Of course, that leaves no guarantee for it running fine if I add any more machines. So what we need to do now is sort out more power production. And so that's going to be our first project for today. I was hoping to get straight on with the copper wire, but we'll have to wait until we've got the coal sorted, because I'm pretty sure that if we actually set up copper wire production, that will send us definitely over the edge, and we'll immediately have a power failure again. So let's take the opportunity while the power is still running to have an easier time of building new things. There we go, the copper wires run down again. So that was part of it, is the copper wire built up, meaning that when we were switching everything on, all of the stator machines will have been trying to run. Whereas normally only like a third of them, so one, can run. So there you go, that's the idea of it, is stuff builds up and then suddenly all the machines actually have what they need for a minute, and you've got to get through that to be able to run the factory again. And that's the thing, the factory is always like... is often going to be in a state where if everything was running, the power wouldn't be enough, but everything never will unless something goes wrong with the power in the first place. So we've been able to operate despite the fact that our potential power consumption has been 25% higher than what our actual production is. But we need to fix that. That's a demonstration that we've got to do something about that, because that's never a good position to be in if you can avoid it. So that's what we're going to get on with. Last episode, we were working on getting motor production going, and that should now be a thing. We got one of them. Hopefully we've got some more already by now, even with the little time the machines have had to go. And we'll be able to maybe get Mark III belts, which will be very useful for today, because if we do make the... there we go. If we do make the wire stuff, the rate that that's produced is insane, and we will definitely need Mark III belts to make full use of it. In fact, even then we will struggle a fair bit. There we go. Pretty solid supply of all the things. I will just go and check right now, because if we have enough just to do the Mark III belt research, that would be wonderful. So I've not got these going onto a belt yet. Let's see. Oh, there we go. 12 of them in here. And 11 of them in there. Okay, we got 29 of them. Is that enough? I feel like it might not quite be enough. I don't know what the actual research cost is. This is one of those times where I should have queued it up so I could see in the top corner exactly what I needed. Make sure I had that. Oh well. Let's go find out. Okay, tier 4, logistics mark 3. Oh, we need 50 motors. Okay, yeah, we're not. We're not at that quite yet. I will pop that up there, though, so we have it. We can maybe fulfill the other parts of it. Oh, I should check what the other milestones are. We could now do the Explorer milestone. Get a new car, get the ability to do quartz-based things, and the map. We also get a map, which is nice. And also I realized we can do the purple shards literally right now, so let's just do that. Doop. Doop, doop. You are doop. Send that on its way. Let me check if there's anything to do in the map. I forget if I'm doing anything with that right now. No, there's only oscillators, supercomputers, and hard drives. And I don't think we have any hard drives to hand at the moment. I'm pretty sure. I don't see any anyway. There goes the thing. And, I can make power shards out of purple slugs. We'll see about getting the, getting those extra motors as soon as we can. I mean, it's just a case of waiting for that to do its thing. But getting more wire production will speed that up. First of all, though, we have to sort out the power. To that end, I'm going to use a feature I've never used before, I think, or at least try. Power coal generator. I want to do list a bunch of them and see, do we have the things we need? I think so. I don't really know. I think that's saying that we have everything we need. Can I tick these? No. So, cable, how much do I have? Yeah, I have 204, so it says I need 180. So these are the amounts I need, these are the amounts I have. We do have enough to make those. That's good. Right, let's hop over there and do that then. We may need some more materials for other things. Because there's also the belts to do and stuff, so we'll just see. But at least we can make the generators easily enough. So here they all are. And yeah, is it 12 or is it 10? It is 12, okay, good. Right. I'll work out exactly where I need to place these, and then see if I can replicate that. Check again. I think there is exactly where it should be. So that's set on there. A little bit of a distance between it and the edge. Yep, I think I've got that dead on. Awesome. And then we can just do all the rest of them using the guides. So, wait till we see both green lines. It's a little bit fiddly. If we stand here, that might make it easier. Then we can stay lined up with this line here. There. Again, I've got to remember that I've got a spacing change here. So, there we go. Oh, can't stand in it. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then step out of the way before I walk off the edge. And 6. Alright, then we just have to connect belts up to these. Why am I using Mark 2s? I should just use Mark 1s. And we'll have to do the power as well. I forgot about that. The actual power lines are important. You kind of need those to transmit power. That is a thing. how did I do these? Okay, I need to do new power poles. Right, oh yeah, I don't have any wire on me because I used it for the research and then forgot to add any more. Also, while I'm over here, I should do a thing. So, I didn't notice I was a complete derp last episode. I connected this belt entirely wrong. That is a port for a wire. That's not a port for the beams. This is the port for the beams. I will now connect this to the system. I like how I hadn't at all noticed that there weren't any beams on the line because I was never above it. Or when I was, like, in sight of it, I didn't realize what it was. So, all last episode, I just didn't notice that there were no steel beams running along this belt. But here they all are now. They'll slowly fill up. We're not using them yet, so that's all fine. But once we have the Mark III belts researched, we're going to need tons of these. I'll have to sort out a storage for them. Though, I've got a whole big plan for storage and how it's going to work here, because this is old now. This is out of date. I want a new one. I've got an idea for a new storage to build. However, it's going to take a bit of work to actually get that set up, so I feel like I'm going to be lazy and just kind of bootstrap with that one for a while. Make it continue to work as long as I can. Like this mess out here. There's all this lovely order here, and then connected up to it is just this nightmare of random, not even all connected belts. As the old system gives way to the new, but I can't be bothered quite finishing the transition to the new. Because I want to keep advancing the factory generally. Okay, what do we need? Bit of all sorts, really. I'll restock on rotors in case it matters. At a glance, I can't really spot what's important. I don't think anything really is, honestly. Seem to be doing fairly well for supplies. Oh, cable. Do I have enough cable? I am short on cable. There we go. I remember that was a thing that we used up a lot in the making of the steam engines. Okay, now we can actually wire it all up. That'll be good for power. How is the power looking right now? Oh, now it's below 400. So there you go, like, our power is now hanging around, like, the 400 region. And when we had a power failure, our power consumption was doubled when we tried to kick it back in because of all the machines running at once. So right now, half of our machines are running at any one moment, and the other half are not. And yet, overall, all the machines are operating, just on and off. It's quite interesting, really. Okay. Oh, is it taking a while for these to build up? Oh, I may have caused an issue. I think the, wait, is this... This is Mark II, right? God, it's so slow. I don't think we're bringing in enough coal to feed all these machines. This isn't good at all. As our capacity starts to drop, it will at any moment, I imagine, so I need to get this hooked up. I can't faff around. As much as I'd like to faff around looking at the various machines and how they're running out of coal and how that affects the power network, which is what I would normally do if I was playing offline, I really should do something about this before the power actually fails again. Because it'll be a pain if it does. But yeah, that's the thing I often will do in factory games, is I'll just sit and watch the factory do its thing, even if its thing is failing. I just find it interesting. But I realise that could sometimes make for boring viewing, so I restrain myself when I'm actually recording, and I actually get on and do the things. Oh, that's not gone right. I've forgotten all my buttons. Do the... What is... Oh no, it is connected to both. I thought I'd missed them and got confused. Never mind, it's all working. There we go, everything's connected. How is the power... Oh, there we go. Now everything's connected. How's the power looking now? Alright, hop straight up to 1,200. None of them actually failing, but I've got to imagine they're about to. Now that everything is okay and that we won't have a power failure, I can go have a look at how it's going on the end of the line. So let's check out these. Oh, they've got full stacks of coal in them. They're fine. Never mind. I was thinking that they would only have like a small amount, but no, they keep a full stack, so it'll take a while for this to actually run down. But it is running down. They're all in their 70s. Nearly a third of the way through their supply. at some point, the capacity is going to plummet. And you remember now, I think a 60 per minute belt can support about 12. I think it might be just a smidge more. So, like, I mean, some of it's getting further, but that's because it's halving every time. In fact, more than that, it's thirding every time. But it means that a small amount will always get, like, all the way through, just because numbers and fractions and things. But most of it will stop earlier. So it ends up a little bit weird. So it'll be hard to tell exactly how it'll work. So that's at 100. This is at 80. This is at 72, and the other ones are now in like the high 60s. So yeah, it's like there's a drop off, which is probably good. There's also the fact that because power usage is a fraction of the production, all these are running at a fraction of their full speed, meaning that the belt will actually provide for more of the machines. It specifically provides for 12 machines operating at full capacity, which they're not. They're running at a third, so should be okay. And this should build up slowly over time. It's just going to take a long time because it's having to fill up all of these along this side. It's managed to do the first 4. Yeah, that's going to be a problem until we can get Mark III belts. Or going to be a potential problem if we really go crazy with the power consumption, which we may do in a second when we add all of the copper wire production, which we're now going to do. Let's see how that goes. Oh, there we go. We're going to hop up our iron tower, and we're going to build a new floor in it. We've got our 2 production floors and 2 smelting floors so far. Now it's going to get a little bit weird as one smelting floor feeds, like smelting floor 2 feeds production floor 3. It's going to get a little bit weird, but it works because exactly half of the iron produced by this is being used on this floor, so half of it can go up to the next floor, where that is exactly how much we need for the wire production. So let's get some walls. We'll go up 2 levels of walls. There we go. And somewhere around here is going to be the output things. Yeah, there it is. Oh. So we'll leave that open. There we go. It's a pain hopping over that stuff. So all of this floor will be solid. Then on the floor above, we leave these 2. So that'll be the door, that'll be the output. And we'll add those in. All conveyor 1. And I mean, right now we're just leaving a hole. I think I'll use the gate structure. Then at least there's an archway. It messes up that wire, but that's fine. I think we're changing this wire later. I'm not actually sure exactly how we're going to do the power going between floors. I haven't actually decided. I'm just putting it off and connecting to random things on the ground until I decide. Let's get a little bit higher up and try and stay there this time. Carry on with the walls around here. This is going to become quite the skyscraper as time goes on. I'm really looking forward to how it's going to look in the late game when there's tier after tier of production. Though it is going to get a little bit messy dealing with that as we try and get all the belts actually down to ground level, combining at different times. Oh, hello. That's interesting. At distance, the image isn't loading. Nearby it is, but like that far away, preview isn't loading. Yeah, I think there's various different distances and stuff that you get different levels of detail, and I think maybe they've got the settings slightly wrong, or maybe I've got my settings slightly wrong. Hang on, no, we've done this at the wrong level. This is too high. Now there's a feature that's being worked on right now. Apparently it was live streamed. I didn't watch it. I did see a clip, but there was a feature being worked on of mass deconstruction where you can just highlight a bunch of buildings or structures and it will deconstruct them all at once. So that would be very useful at this very moment. Oh well. Okay. Actually, it might have already been added. I thought it was a hotfix today. Oh well. If it's a thing, I don't actually know how to do it. Whoops. Deconstruct that in a second. I forgot that the production floors are very, very closely sandwiched together. It's not like they need to look nice. We're never going to see them once they built them, basically. I'll need to go through them once to upgrade to Mark III belts, and then I'll never need to visit again. Okay, do I need to go one further out? I believe I do. Whoops. Oh, damn it. I think I can hop back up here. There we go. And we'll leave it open here, so I could send a walkway down. What I'm actually going to need to do is mess with this walkway to make the space. So we're going to do that. The access is actually an important thing. It's not just for aesthetics. So that ramp goes up there. And then this ramp goes up here. And oh, there we go. And then here's the reason why the ramp is useful. So when I fall off, I can hop straight back up. There we go. Right, now I need to basically build an identical production floor once again. So just going to remember how these constructors go. Luckily, I can see them through the floor. That really does help with working out exactly where they're meant to be. So, yeah, there's the light. I think it's literally that. So it ends up there, and then if we trace it up, nope, this is too far forwards. Or backwards even. It needs to move further forwards. Constructor. There. I remember now. They're actually out in the open still because the thing sticks out the back. There we go, that's what we need. And then a whole bunch of those. 8 of them. Which is going to be quite ridiculous once it's all running. Same over on this side. But yeah, this particular production floor is going to demonstrate the power of compound alternate recipes. By combining the smelting recipe for making extra iron out of iron and copper, and then making iron wire out of the iron you make, so that you don't even need copper in your production line. I think you can have a production line entirely without copper until you get to aluminium now. Previously, you could just get away without ever using copper at all, once you had the recipe, of course, until they added the aluminium recipe that uses some copper. Now we need some splitters. These are going to be feeding the iron into the machines. And I already know how I'm going to bring the iron up, because I've already planned for it in making the floor below. It's all about preparation and stuff here. Planning it all out so that it just works flawlessly when the time comes. Or at least you always hope for that, and then it always turns out that some belt clips something you didn't expect it to clip, and then you've got to redo it all. But I think in this particular case it does just work. Let's find out. Maybe I've spoken too soon. So, logistics, conveyor lift. Yep, it literally just needs to sit exactly like that. There it is. Yeah, connect straight up. Piece of cake. The conveyor lift is exactly the right minimum height to run them in. I will do the same on the other side. And that's why I set up this wacky, weird splitter setup, having it go around the corner and do that, because it would then line up perfectly with both floors. Which is Mark 2s for all this, because sod working out the actual ratios. I'm pretty sure I could use Mark 1s for the whole thing and it will be fine. But we're doing this. I think that's what I did in the other floors. Alright, and here's the recipe, iron wire. So it takes 15 iron ingots per minute and it produces 67.5 wire per minute. It's a very weird ratio. It's 2 ingots to 9 wire, and it ends up being very weird numbers because of the particular speed of production. But the way it works out is double that is 135, double that is 270, double that is 540, so we're producing 540 wire per minute on this floor, which honestly is probably not going to be enough long term. I think we're going to need at least one more floor of this ultimately. But this is going to last us most of the game. 540 wire. It's only when we get to very late on that we're going to need any more than that. By the way, this is a lovely view. Look at that. And this is still in its infancy. It's going to get so much bigger. Very much looking forward to seeing the thing in all its glory. You've seen some hint of it because I did that that preview of my offline save. I'm much more productive on offline games. And so I can often create ridiculously huge factories when I'm not recording. But my intention with this series is to just keep it going until we have something insane. Akin to what was seen in that particular stream. I'll only stop if everyone gets bored, which I'm hoping they won't, especially considering that Satisfactory is going to continue to be developed, and so there's going to be more stuff to see as time goes on. How did I do this down here? Oh, the power poles are now... Oh, wait. Hang on. Did I mean to have these off-kilter? I feel like I didn't. Oops. I'm going to sort that out later. So, yeah, it's about here, I think. Because that's lining up with a walkway that isn't there, but... Yeah. So it's on this line here. I think I did it 2 notches higher. Pretty sure that's fine. I did that in the wrong spot. It's very easy to do, as you can see. There we go. Clear that. I'm pretty sure the rest are good. Yep. When these up here, and these are going to need to be Mark IIs, and in fact Mark IIs aren't even enough. They'll run 60 per minute. The things are producing 67.5. So we will need this to be Mark IIIs. And ultimately, we'll need the actual central belt here to be like Mark Vs. I don't even know. It's going to be ridiculous. But this will do for now. Most definitely. Well, it's going to be making 60 a minute. That's no good. We need it to be doing the 270 or the... Wait, no, it's 120. I'm getting mixed up. Yeah, yes, it's 120 on Mark IIs. And it's 60 on Mark 1s. I've been getting myself confused the whole episode. It's been a little bit of a while since I played. I've been playing Factorio for a bit. I've got to get back into this particular factory game again. Oh dear. This thing, in Factorio, the belts are actually way slower, I believe. Oh no, they're slower. I think the Satisfactory belts just have a way wider range of belt speed. I think actually no, Factorio belts are quicker. They're measured per second instead of per minute. That's where I'm getting confused. I'm used to those kind of numbers. Okay. So that's all the belts connected up. Now we just need the power lines. How did I do this again? Right, 2 to a thing on each side. Alright. So just sit them there. Oh. I don't know how I'm going to connect these all up at the end of it. We'll work that out. We'll do that and this, and then what did I do on the floor below? I connected them to this. Oh yeah, that's just a continuation. There we go, yeah, they went to one centrally here and that just flew out the window. It's not a fantastic system, but it works. Just sit that there. And this will probably change later, but who knows? It's a dangerous thing to assume. And we can still hop down to ground level. Wait. Oh, it's encroaching the gate. I mean, actually, we don't even need to... We just move this back so that that's not a problem. But there's a belt back here, so we can only move it so far. Like, that's literally all we can do. Well, let's connect that anyway. There we go. And then we'll put the gate back in for what it's worth. And yeah, just go through. Only just. So Going to like that power pole instead would have been better. Oh well. I just picked one at random. Right, this is all running now, and it is making the wire. One of them is making the wire. I think I've only set one up so far, but it's already making them at the, like, quite a ridiculous rate. Let's get the rest of these going. Let's just run along the top of them. That's way easier. Damn it, I thought I could do the thing where I just step between them. I know that's a thing, but I think sometimes it doesn't quite work. There we go. Up between them just by walking. See, actually, these belts will support the production rate because they're 120 per minute. I was getting confused. And I bet people have already written those comments, even though in this episode I realized I was wrong. People are still going to be correcting me anyway. God damn it. Curse of the YouTuber. You can never escape their mistakes. So yeah, 120 per minute, which means that we will be feeding 120 per minute out of this, which will be fantastic news for our stator production, which still won't be able to run at full speed, but it'll be way better. Like right now it's running terribly, look at that. Huge gaps between. I don't even know what rate this is going at, but it's not right. I feel like maybe that's not even working properly. I know it's a Mark II belt, it's going 60 per minute, so it's like half running. It seems like less. Oh, it's because it's being split. That's what it is. So yeah, even less than 60 per minute is actually getting to the stators. I think half. So they're getting 30 per minute. That's terrible. No wonder our power consumption has been so low. The stator production is barely running. Yeah, wow, it's now solidly in the mid 300s. Not even getting close to 400 now. Well, it nearly did there. Well, that's good. Okay, now we've got to get this down to ground level. Also, I've got to sort out the walkways out here. Let's get that done. Ramp. Ramp. Turn. Turn. Ramp. Ramp. And turn. And T-crossing. There we go. We can now get up here by the front of the building. And we'll make our way down and sort out the wire from outside, because it's probably easier. Okay. So the problem is that they're all coming out in the same spot, so they can't just come straight down because there's stuff in the way. The problem's only going to get worse and worse. I'm going to have to make a system. But for now, we're gonna bodge it, because of course we are. If I can even work out how. I connected up to this the first time. That's why I was able to do that vertical one like that. This time I won't be able to do that. Actually, what we can do is still work from there if we do Raillift Mark II, lower it and turn it. Lower it to there. And then we can lower it normally and send it out forwards. Right by the other one. And then we gotta connect this to something. You know what? We'll connect it to that. Let's see if this is close enough. It is fantastic. Makes things way easier for me. Alright. Run this along. Oh, we're out of the whatsamajigs. Reinforced iron plates. I'm going to grab one more stack, because I think that's all we'll need, and I think we're very soon going to no longer need them, and in fact have way too many of the things. There's definitely going to go on the... Oh yeah, we've already got it on the line anyway. We just need to... You know what? I'll let this keep running, because maybe it'll help. Actually, no, it won't help at all. We definitely have more than enough being produced on here. This belt is irrelevant now. I don't know why I was thinking that I would need to supplement the exactly 120 per minute going on the belt that goes 120 per minute. I don't. We can just hook this straight up. That'll work fine. and immediately make the state of production work much better. Now we need to check exactly how much it uses. Yes, 60 a minute for each of these. So this whole array can consume 180. So this still isn't enough. We can have a second belt that hooks up and also connects, but oh hello. There's something wrong with my view distance right now. It's acting like this is miles away when it's not at all. I'm right next to it. Why are you showing it ridiculously low frame rates? There we go. If I get really close, I've got to be so up in its face. Something's gone wrong with the distances. Maybe in my settings. You see that as well? Oh my god! They've unloaded. They've become smudges. Only meant to be seen from miles away. Wow, that's gone wrong. I feel like they've accidentally removed a whole bunch of zeros from the distance calculations. Or like distances 1 to 9 on the scale have accidentally become representations of like 100 to 900, that kind of thing. That's fascinating. It seems to be specific to this though, even stranger. I'm just going to leave that to do its thing. Either way, we're making way more status now, which is fantastic news. That'll make us way more motors, which is currently the big thing that we need for various researches and so on. But we do now have enough to do the thing. We can go get the Mark III belts that we so desperately need, and so that is what we will do for the end of this episode. And then next episode, we'll be running around the base just going, make everything Mark III. Oh dear. Okay, logistics Mark III. I don't even have all the stuff for it on me, but we can get most of it done in the motors, which is the important bit. And we just need wire and cable, like we always do for the milestones. I swear, every time. Hang on, I'll grab one more of that. Doop. I think that's enough. Cable and wire. Yep. And launch. And there we go. Logistics
Milestone
Mark
reached.
III.
Logistics have improved by the means of a container with increased storage capacity and enhanced conveyor belt efficiency.
And off it goes. Hey, what else did it unlock? There was other stuff, wasn't there? Let me actually check what is in the milestone. Yep, so the conveyor lift and the belt, and then also the industrial storage container, larger one, if we happen to need it. I don't think we really do, honestly. One storage container can do fine. Like, when are we ever going to need more than a storage container's worth of anything? Really? Okay, except like maybe concrete if we're going ham on building a really big concrete structure, and I don't really care. It doesn't matter. We'll be fine. So we don't need that. But the important thing is the Mark III belts, because now my entire factory can actually work. I feel like Mark IIIs are a real key part of the process. Where a whole bunch of machines output at rates that need Mark III belts, and a whole bunch of things are just needed in Mark III belt level quantities. And you can basically just run your entire factory off Mark IIIs for the rest of the game until like the very, very end when you upgrade some things to like Mark V. And there'll be a couple of things that need to be Mark IV in the meantime, but like basically Mark IIIs are the workhorse of belts in factories, I find. So yeah, we're going to upgrade everything to that, and then we're going to be good on belts for basically ever. It's going to be wonderful. Yeah, I think that is we're going to end it for today. One last thing I want to do is check on exactly how much we need for this, the next set of research tiers. I think it's 150 motors and 500 modular frames. The modular frames, I realise, we really should have been storing so that we could have 500 of them, because right now they're all sat on this belt, and presumably have reached a limit that is maybe less than 500. Oops. Should have thought about that. I could just start hoovering them up. Good old Factorio style. But that'll take a while. Maybe I'll do that between episodes. That seems like a good plan, because otherwise it's going to take forever. So yeah, we'll leave it there. Next episode, we will turn everything into Mark III, and then, I guess, more work on the main bus. We'll now be able to do way more on it. Or maybe it'll be time to work on the new storage system. But that is all we have time for today, so I shall say goodbye, thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.